Welcome back to Watching Film and Varnadore Films. I am Seth Varnadore. I'm a former high school and college football coach. Now I break down film here on YouTube with a particular emphasis on the University of Florida Gators. Florida, that's fun typically. Not as fun after a game like last week against LSU. Florida, the defense did not show up until very late in the game, and then they only showed up briefly. It was kind of like the Grandpa Simpson, right? He showed up real quick and then left right away. So uh, we'll start with the defense tonight. I think there are some things to see that not crazy encouraging, but you can kind of see the plan when it works, what it looks like. When it doesn't work, what does it look like? We're seeing a lot more of when it doesn't work right now. But there are even there's some examples in the game where it's almost the same call or a similar call that doesn't work here, but it works there. So you can kind of see what does it look like when it works, when the defense is kind of getting going. And then there's some plays from I got a few select plays from the offense. Great plays or stuff I just like seeing schematically or stuff I thought maybe got lost in the shuffle, seeing people talk about the game and kind of fan reaction. So let's get started. We'll start with the defense. I thought this play was kind of emblematic almost of the kind of defense for the entire year. You do a great job here after motion. You're bringing a creeper, right? You're bringing a guy and dropping. So we're only going to rush 4. He's going to go inside the tackle. He's going to come off the edge, right? I think they got an idea that LSU is going to turn the protection that way. So you could get 2-on-1 on this backside tackle and have an opportunity to make a sack on the first play of the game. Great design right here. You see that turn. They've turned 4 guys to 2. Right? They've turned 4 linemen to 2 of my linemen. And now I've got 1-on-1 here, 1-on-1 there. They did bring the back across, but still, you've generated 2 1-on-1s in a pass rush. Cox wins. He may be getting tackled here a little bit, held, but right here, right there, that schemed up a sack right there. You just got to kind of finish the play. Great job getting through, fighting through initial contact, setting him up, arm over real quick inside, maybe getting held. But right here, that's a play you got to make. Instead, Daniels breaks out and picks up a positive gain on first down to where, right, if you pause it right here, everyone's just thinking this is a sack. Great start to the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You got him in second 18, second and 19, depending on where he goes down. That's a great start. Instead, scrambles out. Kind of, I think, indicative of and representative a little bit of the season so far. So now here we got 3rd and 15 later in the drive. Right, so this is the one where you rush 3 and then you drop 1 as a spy, right? Ends up giving Daniels a lot of time here. He's able to kind of move around in the pocket, maneuver around, and find Butte coming across, right? So the thought is, man, this 3rd and 15, why not bring all 4 of these guys? Here it looks like you got the crosser coming back across. I'm not sure if he's supposed to be kind of looking to cut that crosser right there, kind of looking for things coming back across. Probably got to have your head on a swivel there, get underneath it. And still, right here, this is not a great throw. This is a pretty good catch right here in traffic. When I say Florida's a little unlucky, I mean, this is tough catch to make, makes it easy. There's some later that are tougher catches, and there's some balls that are just perfectly placed. Some of it is being a little bit unlucky with a guy that had not shown to be super accurate. Maybe you let him get heated up a little bit because you did not put pressure on him. But I think they were more concerned about his legs, especially early, with what was shown on film. If you watch the preview, you saw there were times where he's sitting in the pocket with a clean pocket and throwing balls in the dirt. So that happens sometimes. So, right, it's not necessarily, you see that and you're like, okay, this is why are we doing the rush 3 and spy? So here's a 2nd and 8 in the third quarter. Rush 3. Here's the spy. Look at the difference when you get an actual pass rush here, right? Pass rush forces him up. Now here's your spy. And you've got somebody on the back. And now he's got to run out of the pocket, try to drop it down to the back here. Probably want to do a little bit better job covering that. But you kind of got him flustered, and now he's got to make a throw off balance on the run here. But this is the same concept, right? So what's the big difference? The pass rush was much better. I think that's going to be a common theme you see with Florida. When they're able to affect the quarterback with pressure, obviously that helps. We saw in the first play, sometimes you got to finish that pressure. But right here, this is the same scheme. This is what they wanted on that 3rd and 15. They just did not get any pressure on him at all, right? So here you got a 2nd and 4. They're rotating to some type of cover 2 here. It looks like where he's got deep half, and he actually is deep half up top. I wonder if they wanted him to the boundary and not to the field, because you see all the kind of room this creates right here. So there's a few times where I think that they'd probably want them to check out of a look, or maybe, I'm not sure if they were doing like a Madden style flip. I wouldn't think, but I don't know if this is a great look to the field here, but the idea is he's going to play 2, but he's going to kind of split the difference between these two guys. So right there, it creates a big window, right? So why would you do something like that? So later on, watch, this is going to be a similar technique here. He's kind of splitting the difference between the two. Ball's thrown a little high. He's able to make a play on it. Right? So similar technique. Again, this one's to the boundary, so maybe they wanted it to the boundary. But he's kind of playing that technique in between both guys. You get pressure on the quarterback. Now this is where you get the roughing the passer, which maybe I think it's probably correct by the letter of the law, but maybe the letter of the law is not very good, right? If you get a kind of a clean hit there as the ball's released. So there's another one where you see it's pretty much same idea. First play, it does not work. Second play, it works, right? If you don't get that penalty. So it's not just everything they're calling is failing. All right, so here you've got some man coverage, right? Rolling down, we're bringing guys. I lose, right? If you're going to play man coverage, you've got to win one-on-one, right? So here's the 3rd down. Right there, I lose the one-on-one. Here's a 2nd and 10. Similar look, playing man coverage. There's a win. All right? That's kind of when you get to man coverage, it's kind of win or lose, right? Like if it's a decent throw, it's a one-on-one play. So can you win one-on-one? They lost one conversion. They win one right there. Now, unfortunately, that wasn't a win on 3rd down. It was a win on 2nd down. So here's one. This is just, to me, this has got to be a bust. Right? The back starts here, I believe, and motion's over. So he starts here, motion's there. Once they get to this, there's got to be some type of check they got in. Because when you got this many guys, first of all, you got 2 on up here. So, right, he's covered up, so he can't go off for a pass. So you're thinking run, trick play, that kind of stuff. And then you've got all 5 of your eligible receivers on one side. I'd imagine, and you see later, there's some type of check where he rolls down. He maybe rolls to the middle, and he kind of comes in the box here. Because right now, you got 2 guys basically wasted over here because they didn't rotate with the motion or didn't get to their check. Sometimes defenses will have special checks in for, hey, if they go 4 to a side or whatever, here's our check for that. So check didn't get communicated or something, right? You're out of alignment here. Even so, right there, good job avoiding the block here by the safety. But, man, if you can make that play right there, 3-yard gain at this position, they're probably kicking a field goal here, right? Unfortunately, right here, missed tackle. He's probably down right there. They don't even check it. He gets the generous spot for a 1st down. So similar look later, but you see how, right, LSU's come back to the same look, bring the back over. Look at the difference in like alignment here. He's rotated to the middle. Now they don't have the same front or blitz call. It looked like they had, or kind of that showing it like they did last play. But it looks like they have that creeper from the first play called on, right? Again, maybe that's something they want to check out of, right? But if you get a run, you got a chance, right? So doesn't go for a big gain here, but this is like just a difference in alignment. Is kind of what I wanted to see. When they went back to this, it's not like you had your safety back over here and your corner totally out of the play. He's on a pressure. He's getting involved in the play. You've got a safety rotated over. It gives you a little bit more to that 5 receiver side, really. All right, now we'll just kind of go through some 3rd and 8. I think you kind of got this covered pretty well to the very end, and then you got to make tackles right there if you miss the coverage. It looks to me almost like they're doing kind of almost like a Tampa 2 type look here. Maybe 2-man with the middle safety coming down, right? Because looks like he's going deep half. I think the safety up top is playing deep half as well, and he's coming down. I don't know if he's coming down as like a robber or if he's just going to play the hole like it's Tampa 2, right? But you've got this. You don't really need, especially if you're a deep half player, you don't really need to come down here and help, right? That's a thing you'll see a couple times on a couple 3rd downs, especially one later. You end up with 2 or 3 guys covering one guy when if one dude would just kind of, kind of go where he's supposed to or kind of stay where he's supposed to, you may have some stuff covered. So, if I'm playing deep half, where's he going with the ball at this point, right? Because he kind of sees it late. So let's kind of get back to the pocket. So I'm here. If I'm scanning here and that safety's still there, well, now here I got some more pressure coming. I probably have a chance to flush him here, right? Because I got somebody coming late, but you lose that deep half. Can't do that, right? If it looks like you're playing like a 2 Tampa or some type of cover 2. I thought this would be the kind of the plan more is bringing pressure. I thought, I didn't think Daniels with pressure would kind of give you a ton. He was somewhat erratic on the film coming in, right? But then if you're going to bring a lot of pressure, you got to play a lot of man coverage. So, this is the situations you got to get yourself in. Very nearly gets out right there. So you got to put linebackers who I don't think it's not their strength to be in coverage. You got to put them in coverage, right? So here's one that I've seen some still images of this going around. I would kind of like to know what the call is before I assign too much blame here. Now, you kind of don't end up making the play on either guy here, but is he the dive guy? And this is your quarterback guy scraping over. Is this like a scrape exchange? Or are they exchanging gaps here? Because that would kind of minimize right here. Now you'd like to, if you are the dive guy, you need to make this play here. But the kind of in between here, I've seen some people kind of like he didn't get anybody. Is he the quarterback guy or is he the dive guy? If he's the quarterback guy, then he's freelance and he should have just smoked this dude. If he's the dive guy, personally, like to see him come down and make a play on the dive. But then where's the backer coming in to kind of exchange this, right? If they're doing a gap exchange, who's coming for that gap? He comes a little too late and can't win that race, right? Kind of the same thing we're just talking about in the man coverage discussion, right? Not super explosive at linebacker. So you want to give yourself a chance to win that race right there. Same idea. You're playing man coverage. Like if you want to play man coverage, you've got to win, right? So if you're a defensive play caller and I'm watching, all right, I can't get pressure with 4. It does not seem to I can't get a ton of pressure with 4. So I can't really sit back and just play zone and bring 4. Even with the creeper stuff, you almost got there early, but didn't finish. So what am I going to do? Am I going to bring pressure now? all right, let's bring pressure. Well, now I have to play man coverage, right? So, and this is this is kind of not, this is one I'd say is almost bad luck, but it's really just a great play. This is not a terrible job by the corner for Florida, right? Watch here. Watch as it's a stutter go. Look how he's kind of tracking his hip. You can't really see him, but you can see him drop his hips as he drops his hips. Then he matches them, right? He doesn't turn his head back, but that's how they teach it now. Like this is one thing that's kind of different. This is how a lot of the best defenses in college football teach it. They want you to just play through the hands, right? So right here, because when you turn your head back, we saw this early in the season Utah game. You had the Utah tight end going down the seam. Florida linebacker turns his head, loses the Utah tight end a little bit, right? So don't keep your head down, play through his hands. So he's trying to play through his hands. This guy goes up and plucks an underthrown ball and then is able to pull it down with one arm and keep it out of there while the DB keeps trying to fight through it and almost knocks it out, right? This is one that got reviewed. He almost got it out of there. But that's just more of, I think, a great individual play. And this is what happens, right? If you're playing where it's, and even with zone and stuff, deep enough down the field, everything turns into man coverage. That's kind of one of the staples of the Tennessee offense. Deep enough down the field, it's all man. So you got to win one-on-ones. And when you don't, it's tough to play defense. Right here, kind of similar, right? Everything deep enough turns into man. Maybe a nudge there, but that's it, right? You got to win. You got to win the one-on-one battles. And if you don't, it's tough to play defense, right? There's not much you can call to fix that kind of stuff. This is kind of unfortunate for Florida right here. Now, not just the tackling effort here, but first play, they're bringing a counter. LSU's busting out the counter. We've heard that before, right? Florida plays this pretty decent for, especially if you go back to the USF game. Bang kind of stiffen him up right there. Backer's coming. This other backer's coming over the top and would probably meet the ball carrier if this thing bounces. But you get a great play on the backside here. They're trying to block down the D tackle. He beats him. Great job. Now you just got to finish, right? You're in great position on the counter for one of the first times in the last 2 seasons. And then, unfortunately, he cuts it back. And then you miss tackles, right? That's, again, it's hard to – I think Florida wants to be a defense that doesn't give up a ton of explosive plays. But when you bust coverages and you tackle poorly, you're not going to be able to do that. Here's another example, heating them up, right? Sometimes even if you're not going to win the coverage rep, heat up the quarterback, try to affect the throw. Here the throw gets thrown to the back hip. Probably catchable, but not a great throw. And that's partially helped by bringing pressure. So I thought they might do that a little more. But you can see in some of the other clips why they may have been a little afraid. So here's one where it's like, if I'm not positive what the call is, right, for him. Is he supposed to just turn here and take the first thing that crosses his face? I don't know, because now I've got 4 dudes here. Imagine, if you will, in my best Twilight Zone voice, imagine, if you will, if he drops out to here. If he gets under this window, right, which I think could be a possibility, as you have 1, 2, 3 guys on this one. Maybe he's supposed to drop into this window. Now, if he drops into that window, does Daniels throw him one? And then again, the Demons' back's not in terrible shape. The ball is thrown high. Great play by the receiver there to go up and get it there. It's a little bit behind and high. He goes up and snags it with ease. Florida's defense back's trying to play through their hands. Strong with the catch. Doesn't get the first down, but get you in position to convert. But my question is, what if is he supposed to drop to the first thing he sees, or is he supposed to drop out to here? And if he's supposed to drop out to there, well, now he's undercutting this slant. And maybe it's like Cox last year against Alabama where they throw it right to him, right? because I wouldn't imagine. It could be. I don't know what the call was, but I don't think you want to waste 3 guys here. But it could, maybe that's the call. I'm not sure. All right, let's watch some offense. So in the preview, I said watching LSU play Auburn, I thought that was the closest analog for Florida's offense with all the 12 personnel. They were pretty aggressive against the run game. Out of 12 personnel, the safeties were flying up and making plays. So Florida does a good job here taking a shot. I thought I think in the preview I said, once they get in the plus territory, they take a shot. What's great about this is when you got an aggressive safety, get him to fill for run, and then put some eye candy in front of him to try to get him to stay up. So as I come up for run, and then as I'm starting to get in my pedals, starting to get back, I have something cross my face immediately. That might be enough, right, for me. And then the roll here, this roll here may expand him a little bit, because if I'm rolling there, I might think something's coming across the field, right? So that roll, I think, maybe holds him a little bit, or maybe even expands him a hair. So now I got this, hopefully eating him up, that over his head. And then if I hold him a little bit with the roll, this is where I can take a shot down the field. So right here, I think you expand the safety a little bit with that roll, take a shot over the top, drop it right in. That's about as perfect as you can throw it. Great route there by Shorter, getting over the top and adjusting to it, right? He looks like he's kind of coming. He starts to adjust back vertical. Great job by him. And you see LSU's defensive back's in pretty good position, but you can't beat a perfectly thrown ball. Great contested catch. Great start for Florida offensively. Third down, I thought this was great to see all night. This was something that after the Missouri game, I talked about it. You don't have to get through the whole entire thing. Like, if you're Anthony Richardson, I don't have to get through 5 reads. Like, man, hit 1 or 2 if you have to and go, especially on a third down situation. I don't need to full field it. If I'm healthy, go pick it up with your legs. Just keep the chains moving. And I thought he did a really good job of that and being a lot more decisive in that. Lingard gets some of his kind of first action of the year with the first group here. Jet motion. You get some hold here. And I thought he does a great job of being decisive and getting vertical here. Stick your foot in the ground, get vertical. I would imagine he'll continue to get carries. I think he showed some stuff in this game. And then pretty good job here by Florida up front, kind of making a wall, bounces it, and then put a foot in the ground and get vertical. This was just a great cut here by Montrell Johnson. I think that's encouraging. The encouraging thing for Florida has got to be that your best and most consistent players on offense were all brought in by Napier. So I think you feel pretty good with their evaluation as a staff. They brought in a bunch of guys that can contribute. Unfortunately, with how your defense is struggling, you didn't bring in any defensive guys. So that's an issue. But right here, Florida's just basically just everybody's ripping and running, almost like a wide zone, but they're tossing it out there. You've got the edge sealed up here if you were to attack the edge. But right here, the backer over pursues it. Great vision here to cut this back. And then good job by Johnson kind of doing the rest here. But you can see here, all right, if this backer stays in here, he's got the edge there. They do a great job blocking that thing up, but good vision by him to see the backer climb over the top, get vertical. Then good job here by the center to kind of win and then look for backside penetration here a little bit. And now you got a foot race. And for not being crazy explosive, he wins a lot of those. 2nd and 10 here, moving the ball. Again, be decisive. I like this, but I don't know if we've seen a ton on the concept here. I think they had a pretty good passing concept. It just gets the physicality of it, gets a little held up. So I believe they're going to, right, they're showing this here. he's coming here like he's going to block it. I think he wants to expand, and he's coming out here, right? But the window is open for what they'd like to do. He's here. I think he's going to come back inside, but he gets held up here a little bit, right? And I'm not sure if he continues this to a wheel or just a flat. I would assume a wheel. But right here, as this guy widens, if he's able to get off that, look at all the room you have kind of in here, just inside of him right there. That's the window I think Pearsall's supposed to be in, but he gets held up right there. If he can avoid that, because you want to sell this block and like slip the guy is what I imagine they're doing. Because look at the space that's being created right there. But again, good job by Richardson. It's cloudy. Right, I'm looking back here. It's cloudy. I don't like it. I got some trash at my feet. Go, man. You're a freak of nature. Go pick up the first down. Like that. I loved his decisiveness. I thought that was great. Great job here by Florida. Schematically right here. Release, get to outside leverage on the corner. You scored a touchdown on the toss, right? And he was your tight end, was one of your lead blockers over there. And now you're going to fake it, slip him back the other way. So you've got a high-low there. Good fake. And now right here, these are just gimmies you got to have. Right here, put it on him. Thank you very much. Great design. Got him going one way. Puts it back behind him. This is one where it's so open, you've got time to bang, quick set your feet even if you want to. Put it on him. It's going to be there. And what's crazy is you probably could have thrown that to the corner too for shorter. You got both guys open on this concept. Great job, great scheme. Just got to execute a little bit better. All right, so they do end up scoring. It's the next drive here. This is a similar idea right here. You get the boot. You kind of get what you want. You want, right? If they're gonna take this in the flat, you get the over. Right. So notice how did you get this high low on him? First of all, you've got this formation into the boundary here. So you've got the strength into the boundary. You got a tight end here, your receiver here. You got one-on-one to the field. Run that thing off. He's coming back across. Well, if he's taking two across, right, or the first or number two, he's two across. Well, now he's three, and he can get lost back in there. So right here, he takes the first thing coming out. Thank you very much. And now that opens up room for him. Again, this is under a little more duress, but if you can just get it on him there, you've got a chance to make a big play there. And a lot of that's just by pre-snap design, right? Just by putting the formation into the boundary here, putting the strength down here, get you 2-on-1 up here. So good design there. But these are the ones you just got to hit, right? These are the gimmies. If you can start hitting these more frequently, the offense obviously gets even better and better. 3rd and 6. This is one where I think you had some type of. It's hard to tell because it happens so quickly. I think you had some type of flood concept. Maybe I don't know if you're expecting man coverage here or not. But this is, I think, a simple case of just the back going the wrong way in the protection. I think he switches the protection before the call here. Is this the one? Yeah, we got a back view of it. So right here, he may come up and set the protection this way, right? Because you got one there, but you got a potential 3 over here, right? So I got potential extra rushers, and then here I have 2. So if I'm good here, right, so maybe he sends the back here to pick up a 4th rusher just in case, right? So if he gets 8 up and they're 8 up right there, right? But this is one where I think you could probably beat him with the ball. But what ends up happening, right, you get 2, you get 3 over here, and you get 3 over there. Well, your slide is coming here. So this slide is going to pick up these 3. He goes to the backside. So now he picks him up, which is the correct thing to do, right? Because he's picking up the first thing, right? You want to pick up your immediate inside threat there, I think. Maybe you want the tackle here to make a call and come down inside and cut this guy loose off the edge because, as we all learned in high school mathematics, shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So I'd rather have this guy run from further away if they're both going to get a straight line here. But if the back is supposed to stay in protection here, he can fit up there, and that kind of helps you out. So I think it's just kind of a protection issue. I'm not sure if he called it back to this side because he thought he may get these three on these two because the tight end was out in the route. So maybe he moved the back over there and thought he could go 3-on-3. But then this has got to be communicated better across the line, right? There's just some miscommunication because he's sliding and leaving this dude. So he's not including him in this count over here. So stuff that's going to happen. First and 10 here. This was kind of a bizarre. This is your Y cross, the way Florida likes to run it out of a 3-by-1 with the shallow instead of the out from this side, the crosser, and then a dig behind it. Good job by Richardson here stepping up. Good job by the back getting a piece right here. Gets a piece of that guy. Richardson does a great job stepping up, moving in the pocket. I thought he played pretty well, really. He missed a couple gimmies, but that's going to happen, right? Andrew Luck, considered like the greatest prospect of all time. In his pro day, I think he had a couple incompletions, and that's against air. It's going to happen. You're going to miss some, but when you can do stuff like this, that's why you're in there. Give him a catchable ball here, get a first down. I think, right, so then you look at the, why did Florida waste time? I think right here is where you wanted to be aggressive. You get the out and up, you get a hold here, it goes uncalled. I think if you get that call or you hit right, you hit this throw. He's looking to take a shot. He holds him there, doesn't like it. He does this later. I wish he would have just, if he doesn't like any of this, drop it down here. You've got a chance to make a pretty good play right there. I think in his mind, he's thinking, which is not a bad idea, this corner's carry shorter across. He's thinking, this is Utah all over again. There's nobody back here. LSU does a good job dropping Ojulari back here. Right? He might be thinking Utah all over again. Once I break contain here, nobody's there. You got Ojulari. But, right, if they brought him, he was correct. There's nobody on this side of the field. So if you could somehow even make that guy miss, you're in great shape. But that guy's a stud too. So I think Florida is going to be aggressive, and that was their shot. And when that didn't happen, they just were content to go to halftime because the defense was obviously on roller skates. They were going backwards quickly. So giving LSU the ball back, you could have been putting yourself in a pretty tough situation. But I think you had enough time to do to try to do a little more there. All right, 2nd and 10. This could be. It's hard to tell if this is kind of if Pearsall's got a read here, or if it's man, I can keep running, or if it's zone, I curl up over the ball. But you got double curl flat here, so kind of like that Hank concept. We got to curl over the ball, curl at the hash, and a flat. Right here, you can see it. I wonder. I think if he, I would assume if he does have an option, he would carry that thing across. So this may just be a straight Hank, but he opens up. Good job here by Shorter being aggressive at the top of his route and opening up that space, coming back to the ball for a completion and a first down. 2nd and 7, empty, motion the back out here. Same kind of, it's that Y cross again. Great concept against zone or man. That's why you see it's an air raid concept. So those guys like stuff they can kind of run against everything. So you bring him all the way across. Good job here by Richardson. He probably could have taken this one, But good job kind of fitting this ball over the backer there. That's a tough throw. He probably could have taken the tight end. He wouldn't have picked up as many yards, but he likes this one. That's a tough throw to make right there. Gives a chance to do something. And then this is what I have a question about. So this flag comes in. This is the play where you get the offsetting personal fouls here, but Florida was after the play. This flag comes in way before this. So what was that flag for? You know, what was that? What was that call? Was that guy calling the roughing the passer from back there? Maybe, but that thing comes in way early, and then there's where you get the penalty for Florida. 3rd and 5 again, using that misdirection. Right, you've thrown this screen a few times on 3rd down, as much to the chagrin of Florida fans. And now you basically do the same thing as a toss, that toss fake, pump fake there, get out here. He's coming inside. I think you're hoping you get man covered, and he comes all the way in, and you're able to have like a lead blocker there. Guy does a pretty good job here playing it. I'm not sure exactly how they teach it. Maybe you almost want it like a pin pull where you're coming here, but it's, you're out in space. You just got to kind of do what you can. Doesn't get enough of them there. And then Lingard makes a great play, putting his head down, finishing the run, picking up the 1st down. So good design, good execution there by the back. Pick up those tough yards. Here's a little gap run. I wonder if we see this is one I wonder if we see a lot more of this from Florida down the line this year. There's not been a ton of it, but all right, you got a kick and a wrap. You end up getting a log, I think. But this look is tough, and you're going to get play backside with Richardson just as the run threat. So he comes inside, they log him, gets a piece right there, and you kind of get the backside of this held by Richardson's threat to run. Great job right here by the guard getting up there. And then a good run there by Lingard. I think you pick up 9 on 2nd and 13. Give yourself a chance. Now you're 4th and 4. So, right, the thought here, LSU does a good job covering this. But, it's okay to throw one-on-ones. That's not a bad thing. But motion the back out. So now you got to bump a corner out. And then you're going to have a bunch route ready here. They've got a pretty good job, but then you also just have one-on-one slant backside. I think Richardson goes to the correct side here. Right, because they end up he's vertical. These both expand out, and as these guys try to get over the top, he's going to come back here into that space, hopefully clear it out, right? But as he comes back, so maybe you could, as he starts to come back here, maybe you could put this on Henderson right here. But they did a pretty good job readjusting to it. If you hit a slants backside 101 are meant to beat me in coverage. So I think you're fine throwing that. Just got to put it on his body there. Obviously, you'd like if the receiver could keep his feet. But there's nothing wrong with the read, nothing wrong with the play call. Get yourself a slant backside. You just got to hit the throw. Again, great job here. I thought this was a bad holding call. To me, this is just a finish. Great job in the pocket by Richardson. Watch here. All right, I think that's just a finish that gets called a hold. Good job by him getting out of the pocket. Fortunately, get a holding call. But this is what he can do that other people can't, right? This is big time stuff, obviously. ETN gets enough, and then this guy's just an animal. This is why when you keep hearing, maybe he's not healthy. I don't know, man. Like when he breaks out on this, I would say jumping from the 4-yard line, landing about a yard or two deep, he looks pretty healthy right there. So I was really glad to see him be a little bit more decisive and just take off and run, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Then here, the boot, great catch on a low ball there. but he's been great off play action. And I think PFF put out a stat today. He's the number one in the P5 in terms of QBR or whatever off play. That's a lot of acronyms right there and initials, but he does well off play action. I like seeing this. The one earlier, right? He had the shot and he tried to take off right here, drops it down. Hey man, if you can just pick up some yards on first down, that's great. You pick up 9 yards on first down, awesome. You get the ball down the field here. 2nd and 10, motion. They've thrown it. You got to respect a little bit more little mesh in it here. I think this is one of Richardson's favorite options. So, like, you've seen mesh, you've seen white cross. So, you've seen some air raid concepts in this offense. So, there's some, I think some people are like, there's not sound passing concepts. Air raid's pretty sound. They do a pretty good job. Now, obviously, that's not your whole offense, but it's not like they're running nothing out here. There's some sound, tried and true concepts they like to run. There's mesh, same motion here. Good job here on the split flow with the tight end going through the upfield shoulder. Bang. Head inside, you get a piece of him. That's enough to knock him off the path there. And then good run here by the back. Make a cut, get down there, score the next play. So the game wasn't pretty, but there was some good stuff in there. Just not enough to win. So if you like that, subscribe, like the video, comment, all that stuff. Help me game the YouTube algorithm here. And hopefully we get to see a more enjoyable game coming from Florida here in the next couple weeks.